Hello and welcome down the vent. My name's Joe, and today we're taking a look at Coaster Park from Pandasaurus Games. Let's check it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at how to play Coaster Park from Pandasaurus Games. So here I have the game set up for 2 players. You set out 3 normal hill cards and 2 launch hill cards. That's the available hills that you can purchase or in the auction phase. You give each person $24, I guess, and then whoever most recently rode a roller coaster gets the giant active player token. This is my hand. My hand is very large. Okay, this is here. Let me do. This is the size of the box here. Okay, this is normal, like ticket to ride size box. That's how large this first player the player token is. Like, it's outrageously large. It's cool because it's a crane and you're building coasters, but it doesn't fit in the box built. So yeah. So anyways, the last person to ride a coaster takes the active player token here and puts it in front of them. Alright, so now you get to take your turn. So on your turn, pretty much what you get to do is propose a sale or hire an expert. So for $2, you can hire one of these experts down here and they give you a special ability. Like, the construction foreman lets you insert a hill between 2 existing hills in one of your coasters. Cool. Or these ones here are your warehouse storage limit is increased by 1 or something like that. So they all have different abilities that you can use throughout the game. But I mean, this game is about building coasters. The game ends once someone has built their 7th hill. So you get one more turn after that, but that's pretty much it. So I guess I'm going to choose Hill A because it's a big starting hill, and I want to start my roller coaster. And I'll say $5. So now goes the next player. They can either buy it for $5, test their coaster by paying $1 and then rolling 3 marbles down it to see how it runs, or pass and do nothing. Well, I mean, they don't really want to pay $5 for it, right? So they're just going to pass, and then I have to pay the $5 to the bank. If they did want to buy it, though, they'd put the $5 out, and then I get a choice. Either I can just take the $5 and do nothing with the rest of my turn, or I can hire an expert. If I hire an expert, then I pay $2 to the bank, their $5 goes to the bank, and then they get the hill. Well, I mean, it makes more sense to just take the $5 to me, so I'm going to go ahead and take the $5. They get the hill, that goes to them, and then we replace the card. So now they become the active player, and they get to choose a hill to put up. So, and you have to build your hill or store it in your warehouse. You can store 1 card in your warehouse at a time, and if you can build it at any time to store a new one there. So there's not like there's any grave consequences to storing your hill. So go ahead and get this started here like so. You put 2 of these things in the bottom here, and
2 hours later.
Okay. So that's their hill so far. Cool. Looks awesome from a distance, right? I mean, look at that. Looks cool. Looks like a roller coaster they're building. Okay. So now they want to put this bump in here. So they're going to say $5 for the bump. Well, the bump does me no good because I guess I could buy it and store it in my warehouse, but I don't really like it anyway, so I'll just pass and make them pay another $5 to the bank, because the less money they have, the easier it's going to be for me to buy my coaster parts for less. So the cool part is they already have 2 of these blue things here, so they can just go ahead and put them in there like so, and then they take 1 more and put it on the other end. So now they got something cool going here, right? Like, this looks like a legit roller coaster, lots of fun, woot. Woot. And they take that card as well, so they know they bought it, and a new card gets put out. And this is part of the game I wasn't too fond of, is the constant maintenance of keeping these rows up, because every time someone builds a card, you then have to look for the new roller coaster pieces, and they look so similar. I mean, they do mark them with letters, so it makes it a little bit easier, but Some are still just hard to find unless you have a giant table that you can sprawl everything out on, which we did not when we played the game. So keep that in mind. Big tables are good. Little tables are a little rough for this. So now it's going to move back to my turn. So I'm going to take the X player token, and I can choose one of these to put up for sale. I still need to start, so I'm just going to pick D. I'm going to say I'm going to pay $1 for it. Well, that player doesn't really want to start another coaster at this time. They could if they wanted to, but they're not in the mood. But they would like to test how their coaster runs so far, so they're going to pay $1 to the bank. And then I'll pay $1 to the bank for my coaster because I get to buy it. And they'll actually get to test. So put their marble up here, run it down. Oh, it fell off. Okay, that doesn't count then. Try it again. Oh, it fell off. Try it again. Alright, so maybe that piece isn't great. So, not a successful coaster. Their marble keeps flying off the rails. They need to try and work on that somehow. Maybe they can hire an expert card that lets them replace one or something like that. So the other part of the game is the bonus cards. There's one global bonus card that everyone can score throughout the game. This one says score 1 point for each hill in your coaster with the most hills. So, as I said earlier, you can build more than one coaster in your park, but for that one you only get to score the largest. And then everyone has a private bonus card as well. This one says score 1 point for each wooden hill with wooden supports in your park. So things like this have only wooden supports, or that has like steel supports, so that doesn't count. So okay, so at the end of the game, each person gets to test each of their coasters 3 times just by rolling a marble down it multiple times, and then you'll score points. So points are scored for however far the marble goes. So the last hill that it goes over, so say it goes over the first 2 hills, you'll remove the rest of the coaster from the game and only score those first 2 hills. If it makes it over like 4 hills, then you get to score all of them. The hills are worth points here, so let's see, this one's worth 2 points because it has 2 red flags on it. This hill's worth 3 points, it has 3 red flags. This one, if it made it over both, would be worth 5 points altogether because 8 is worth 4 and that one's worth 1. And then, yeah, they just add up those points. So each flag is 1 point. So if I made it over these 2 here, I would get 5 points total. If that person made it over there, they'd have 5 points total. So we'd be tied on our coasters. Then you'd score your bonus cards, see how many points you get for that. And that's it. That's your final scores. If there's a tie, the person with the longest roller coaster wins. If there's still a tie, then if someone has a second coaster, the longest one of the second coasters breaks the tie as well. So that's the game. So let's go ahead and head up and see what I think about it. Okay, so what do I think of Coaster Park? Man, it had so much potential. We were so excited to play this game. Then and like just the idea of building the roller coasters has a really neat like toy aspect to it for even for adults. You know, I played this with people who loved like roller coaster tycoon when they were younger, and they play it still like just for the nostalgia. So like we were super pumped. Man, it was such a miss. The game, it wasn't really even much of a game. You can auction, but you can just pass and then try and auction on your... It was so confusing when we tried to play it the first time. Then building the pieces. I decided to take... I had the chance to take the loop-de-loop, and I was like, I'm doing it. I'm going to buy it. I spent almost the rest of the game trying to build the loop-de-loop because it was so poorly constructed. Like, it doesn't go together well. And then, like, I'd almost get it, but then something would be in the way, or it would fall apart as soon as I took my hands off of it. Like, and I know it says not to use the loop-de-loop unless you're more advanced, but, I mean, we play a lot of games, so I figure I gotta go with the loop-de-loop, right? And everyone was excited to see if it worked or not. So everyone else was building their coasters, and they were looking awesome. I was just piling mine up beside it to build once I got past the loop-de-loop, as I bought more and more throughout the game. I finally did finish my coaster. So then we get to the end of the game where you get to test your coaster, and then however many hills it makes it over, that's how many points you get, blah, blah, blah. One person got past their first hill. So they won. I guess. People were kind of upset about that, so they even tried putting a bigger starting hill on their coaster just to see what would happen. We tried, because it says that sometimes if you widen or narrow the track that it starts on, you can get better speed and to make it over. Like, we sat there and tried, I think, for another 15 minutes trying to make it past the second hill, and I got to go past the loop-de-loop. I was the person that got past their first hill. So, yeah. Once I got it together, it was cool. But then, I mean, you make it past one hill and it just died. I mean, we were so excited for this game. I can't recommend this. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, I guess, altogether, which is super disappointing because the theme's amazing. And maybe if they make a second edition with where they fix just the hill heights or something, I don't know, and they add a little bit more of a game to it, I'd give it another shot. But man, yeah. So Coaster Park from Pandasaurus Games, unfortunately, was a big miss for me and my group. So yeah. Until next time, I'm Joe, and you've been watching Down the Vent. Bye.